Hello, good evening. Yes, my name is Coralie Shariol, and I'm the co-founder of Reactive Film. Reactive Film, in a nutshell, brings documentaries, incredible documentaries, to high schools and teaches young people how to get engaged and be civically responsible. And when I saw this film, I couldn't believe in such a young person, in Micah, that he was so civically engaged and socially responsible, and that he really wanted to make a difference. And that's what we're trying to do with this course. It's really get these students to care, and to empower them to make a difference.
This project was the way that I thought I could change the world at the time, and now I have a different view of it because I've realized what worked with my project, but also, and more importantly, what didn't.
What are your hopes with this film? When you were making the film, beyond capturing your son's experience, what were your hopes? Where would you like this film ideally to impact?
I'd just say that when we started making this film, we weren't imagining this. We thought we were going to make a little short film about community service for middle schoolers, kind of a 5 or 8 minute film or something, because honestly, it's a little weird to make a film about your own kid, but the film.
No offense.
But the story kept evolving, and we had incredible access to sort of follow it as it went along, and it sort of grew. And what came out of that, I think, for us, is this sense that one kid's story could be a stand-in for many kids' stories.
I think more synagogues and communities are paying attention to teaching kids that bar mitzvah is not a day, that it's a moment in your life where you begin to accept responsibility for your own choices, and that's really is a part of the transition to adulthood.
I'm curious to know whether or not your grandfather expressed any regret for not going once you came back safe. I
confess I had some, I wouldn't say trepidation, but some concern. My dad is very proud American and would not cross his government and feels that America saved his life, even though he acknowledges that, Cuba was there for him in his time of need. I don't think Dad regretted for 1 minute not going, but I do feel had he come with us, we would have had a really lovely experience and a different film.
The technique of using Micah as the voiceover, was that done through a Q&A? Were you asking him questions, or was parts of it scripted? How was that done?
It wasn't really scripted, but we did do a number of interviews. We started interviewing Micah when he was 12, and we realized in pretty short order that a 12-year-old doesn't have much perspective on what's going on in their lives. Sorry, Micah. And we kept interviewing him like every year, over time until he was, I think we did his last interview when he was almost 17. And he had a much more of a perspective. The initial genesis, if you really want to go back to the beginning of Micah's bar mitzvah project, was that he wanted to collect baseballs and soccer balls for kids in Latin America. That was his idea. And we said, well, maybe we should think about narrowing that down a bit. And one thing led to another, and the Cuban connection was what came to the surface. There were 3 kind of avenues for getting a license to go. There was humanitarian, there was religious, and the general kind of because we're making a film license. And we were turned down for all of them.
It's a country under sanctions by the United States. We don't have open trade with them.
You cannot send package to Cuba.
Did you have to wear the yellow star?
Yes. At that point, the United States government closed up all their borders. They didn't allow anybody in or out of the country. So we lived in Cuba for 2 years.
Cuba saved my grandfather's life, and I wanted to repay a sort of debt. And what better way, thought my 12-year-old self, than to share something with the Cuban people that I care about, that they care about.